Hello everyone, this is Physics 101. This is a lesson on calorimetry. So a calorimeter is a device used to measure specific heats of objects. So, for example, here you want it to be closed. So this layer insulates the system from the environment, and you have a thermometer here to record the temperature. So what a calorimeter does is you will put in a sample inside, and upon doing so, you will record the temperature of the system before and after. Of course, you will close this system. So how are you going to measure the specific heat from this setup? So calorimeters take use of the concept of conservation of energy. So if this system is isolated from an environment, energy must be conserved. So the sum of all the heat transferred inside should be 0. So no heat should be entering this object. No heat. And no heat should be leaving the calorimeter. So for example, your specimen is at a temperature, say a hot temperature, and inside the calorimeter you have a temperature of a cold temperature. So what will happen is that the heat transferred in this specimen, so we will call that Q sample, plus the heat inside the calorimeter must be equal to 0. So this amount of heat is measured by mc delta T. So m is the mass of the sample. So in this case, whatever the sample is, C is usually the goal of the calorimetry. So this is the specific heat of the sample, and delta T would be the change in temperature of the sample. Of course, this formula also applies for the calorimeter. So if you want to use this formula for the calorimeter, you will take the mass of the calorimeter times specific heat of the calorimeter times the change in temperature of the calorimeter. And if our calorimeter has some fluid in it, for example, it has water in it, you will need to add another another heat involved in our conservation of energy equation. So you need to add another term, for example, heat transferred in water. So QW should have mass of water, specific heat of water, and whatever the change in temperature of water. So if you have all these values, mass of calorimeter, mass of water, specific heats of calorimeter and water, and change in temperature, the calorimeter experiment will be able to tell you the specific heat of the material.